Audio check, man. That stings. That really stings. It was a phenomenal game, but that one stings. But audio check, please. Any day now, somebody. Any day now. Thanks, Daniel. Well, guys, some nights be like this. Your New Jersey Devils coming off a thrilling overtime victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning look to make it back-to-back wins on the Rock home ice. I believe looking for the 7th straight home victory. And your New Jersey Devils lost in a tight playoff-type warfare via the shootout, the first one of the season, to the Florida Panthers by a score of 2-1. Absolutely painful. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And this one stings. I'm just trying to pull up some stats here. Win or lose, we booze. You guys already know. Win or lose, we booze. Dirty Devil Vodka, the official vodka of the great Martin Brodeur. Smooth as hell. And this is going to numb the pain. It's going to numb the pain a little bit. Just going to do. Oh, man. What a game. Very entertaining game. Obviously did not go our way. But that was a playoff-like war, guys. Cheers. Cheers to all my Devils fans, especially the ones that are non-doomers. I know you're here among us. We will address most of you in due time on tonight's broadcast. But it was an insane game. I mean, you saw a little bit of everything. Chances, big saves. I can't even call what we saw fisticuffs. That would be disrespectful to actual fisticuffs. But, I'll call it physical skirmishes. And, wow. That one was a roller coaster, and I really thought we were going to pull that off in the third period. But we get to the game. First period, you already know what time it is. Very shortly into the game, you realize, okay, it's one of those heavier, edgier, more violent type of matchups. There's not going to be a ton of chances early. The teams are going to feel each other out a little bit. It's going to be a little bit tighter. And Matthew Tkachuk gets the blood flowing for both teams early on. He crushes Johnny Kovacevic in the corner, and Johnny Kovacevic goes right back after him. I like to see that, but he did it in a less than stealth fashion and got a penalty as a result. But like to see them not taking any BS from the Panthers early on. On the another random note I have here, on the power play that ensued from the Kovacevic retaliation, there was a dump in, I think, or someone chipped a puck in, and it was coming around the glass, and I believe Markey went behind the net and kind of stabbed it down and then cleared it out. That the broadcasters, I want to go back and rewatch it, but this was on ESPN. Technology is not my friend, as all of you guys know. I'm not even sure if I could rewind on the ESPN app. Either way, I'm pretty sure Markey pulls a little shade of the great Martin Brodeur there. Didn't mention it, but I will verify that. Scoreless first period. I'm getting a bunch of texts. We're in a battle. And pretty much the same thing in the second period. Devils, let's see. Devils shots on goal in the first. Super, super low shot count. Devils 6, Panthers with 5. And then the second period was 11-8 in favor of the Panthers. So 14 shots for the Devils, 16 for the Panthers through 2. And there was some decent ones. And it gets a little, the Devils, you'd like to see them tighten up offensively in games. Defensively, tighten up defensively. But in a game like this, we started trading chances and we couldn't bury one. There were so many. There were so many chances for us to win the game. But on the flip side, there were so many chances for us to lose as well. And Jacob Markstrom, don't let me forget, Jacob Markstrom with another stellar outing. For anyone who remotely said anything ill about Jacob Markstrom, just deposit your apologies in the comments. Overall, having a monster season, likely will be a Vezina candidate. And the games we've seen out of him in the past week and a half or so have just been stuff of legend. I mean, the Kraken game, the Rangers, the Lightning. Now he follows it up again tonight. Obviously, a less than stellar performance for him in the shootout, if I'm being honest. But he gave them every chance to win in regulation and overtime, and so I'm not going to fault him for giving up on the shootout, but we'll get to all that later. But another period, another scoreless, chippy period. What else we got here? After the intermission, I don't know for how many people watch, like, in between periods or whatever, but Kevin Weeksy was adamant that the Devils are looking to add a defenseman via trade, and he was very adamant about it. And obviously, he's very tapped in, has tons of connections within hockey all over the place, and a great network. And so, for him to be that adamant about it, I believe there's some truth to it. I did find that to be pretty interesting, considering if someone said to you, what are the Devils' deepest at the moment, I would definitely say defense. Obviously, a lot of us want our offense revamped. The defense, we have potentially 3+ guys waiting in the wings that could and have played in the NHL before. Hadika, Shimo Nemitz, Seamus Casey all have NHL games under their belt. Obviously, it might be less than ideal to go into the playoffs with one of them on your playoff roster if they're coming in at this point of the season or later. So maybe it is an insurance move. But I did find that to be a little interesting that we're going to use assets to get, another defenseman when we have, who are you going to get that's, you would say, his hands above one of those guys I just named. Very interesting, very hot topic of conversation in my text messages there, but I thought that was interesting. Jack Hughes did one of the better interviews. Maybe in his older age, he's, embracing the media a little bit more, or maybe it had something to do with the fact that it was PK. It probably did, but it was via the headset on ESPN. He was talking to PK at the intermission. Pretty good interview. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure it'll be out there somewhere. But one of the most noteworthy, things worth mentioning that Jack had said was something along the lines of talking about the game. We got a really good goalie back there and something like that, blah, 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 about Markstrom. And so you could tell, I said this last year, there had to be so many nights where the guys were driving home talking to each other like, when is this guy going to get us a goalie? This is another game we could have won tonight. It's human nature. And you could tell now that the psyche amongst the players for sure has definitely changed, because they know there is a guy back there that is giving them a chance to truly win night in and night out. We did not have that luxury last year. So I just thought that was an interesting little tidbit that Jack had mentioned to PK at the intermission. We go to the third period, and another former New Jersey Devil, guys. I mean, at this juncture, it's almost comical. Just the ones I can remember offhand of former Devils, having success against us on the season. Western Canada road trip is the first one that comes to mind. Then there was probably one before that, but Western Canada road trip, it's a 0-0 tie late in the third. Markstrom, another solid game that many people forget about. Markstrom returns home to Calgary on our Western Canada road trip. Perfect through 2. Perfect through 15 minutes in the third, essentially. I think it was about 4.5 minutes left. Kevin Ball, traded in the Markstrom deal, takes a wrist shot from the point, and former New Jersey Devil Blake Holman tips it down low, giving Flames 1-0 lead. That ends up being the game-winning goal. So that's obviously a former Devil to former Devil on a game-winning goal in a game we lost. Huge former Devil scorch moment right there. And then obviously Scott Wedgwood coming in with the Avalanche, shutting us out. Mackenzie Blackwood coming in with the Sharks, shutting us out. So you just former Devils getting us. Adam Larson had a goal for the Kraken a couple games back in the loss. Luckily, we won the game, but all season long, former Devils have just been lighting us up. And Jesper Boquist, who was playing amazing defensively as well. This guy was flying all over the place. You could tell that he was playing like a man possessed. He was on a mission. He back-checked and he came flying up the ice at full speed to chase down, I think it was Brad, in either the second or third period to kill what would have been a pretty good scoring chance. I think Brader was coming down the wing and Boquist just flew at him, turned on the Jets and broke up the play. But Boquist gets his 10th at 41 seconds. And my heart sank at that point. Early on in the third period, obviously lots of time left, but it's not a good feeling. I thought, going into that third period, that obviously next goal wins the game. I think this is going to be a 1-0 game. But not too much longer later, the captain delivers. Nico Hischier on a kind of broken play, weird thing in front, finds his way to the back of the net. And it's about time we've gotten a lucky bounce like that. It seems like we've been victimized all season long in that department as well, with just random deflections, bounces, and everything seemingly going against us. I'm not even going to get into the officials, but, just actual puck bouncing deflection type stuff. And we finally get one. Nico's 20th of the season from Timo Meier and Bastian at 2:27, ties the game at 1. And then a couple minutes later, Matthew Tkachuk absolutely blows up Nico Hischier, just absolutely crunches him on the wall. A melee ensues. Again, in my opinion, they did show more balls. Not as much balls as I would have liked to see, but more balls, I guess, than we've seen in the past couple weeks. But Siegenthaler, who knew he had it in him? I guess when you hit a Swiss guy, it's different, right? We've seen some other things. But now Tkachuk bowled over, crushes Nico, and he's like, that's my Swiss brother. And he comes flying down. He throws a couple punches. Nico immediately gets in there, starts trying to throw punches. Everyone doing the chokeholds, the WWF arm bars, everyone gets in. Total melee. Would have liked to see again, in a situation like that, when stuff goes down, I want to see them I just want to see guys fully peel away from the pile, drop the gloves, and hurt somebody. This is now, I don't even know how many incidents, but tons of incidents, obviously, with Tkachuk, going back to that weird thing with Nico. I forget if that was last season or 2 seasons ago now. It may have been 2 seasons ago, I forget. But the thing with the knee, so obviously bad blood there, and he just crushes Nico. And yeah, Siegenthaler wasn't standing for it. Neither was Nico. We have a little bit of a fracas, a lot of wrestling. I wish we saw some more actual, punches thrown. And somehow we ended up with a power play. I was a little surprised. I knew it was going to take him a while to sort it all out. And I thought there was a good chance because Siegenthaler mugged him that we would end up shorthanded. And so I'm just trying to look here. Yeah, so Tkachuk gets a roughing. And he gets a roughing on Siegs, an interference against Nico for the hit, which, I don't even think, I guess it happened so fast, there was no way to know, but it didn't seem like there was going to be a penalty on the hit. And then the whole melee happened, and then however they came up with this, Siegenthaler gets a roughing against Tkachuk, and somehow Nico Hischier escapes penalty-free. In my opinion, I think that's bad officiating. In a situation like that, again, you guys know me. I'm old school, baby. Let the boys play. This is playoff hockey. It was beautiful. It sucks that we lost, but this is, it's a shame we couldn't win either. These types of wins are massive for a team. But if I would have liked to see, honestly, just neither team end up shorthanded after a situation like that. So they gave Tkachuk roughing and interference, and Siegenthaler. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, I'll gladly take the power play. But if I was a Panthers fan, I'd be pretty furious. I mean, how does Nico get anything? I try to be fair here, guys. A lot of people roast me. Oh, you're a Devils homer, and a lot of stuff, maybe. But stuff like this, I try to be as unbiased as possible. And, yeah, I would have just liked to see both, have all the penalties offset somehow and no one go shorthanded. I mean, it was a, I have to go rewatch the hit again. I do think he left his feet. If he didn't leave his feet, I would have no problem with the hit. And I would just say, don't get caught like that. Or, someone has to answer after he delivers the hit. But I have to look. But it did look like he kind of leapt or, jumped a little bit. And clean or not, you got to respond. The boys did. And we did nothing on the power play. We did absolutely nothing on the power play. Markey makes a big save shorthanded in that situation to keep us in the game. He had some other great saves too, but the most memorable one, the breakaway that Markey stopped. And that's it. Some little chances back and forth. We go to overtime. Again, chances back and forth in the overtime. Couldn't get one. And we eventually get to what I thought we'd never see. The first shootout on the Devils season. But yeah, Spencer Knight had a very good game, as did Markstrom. And I said in the chat that, not in this order, but the 3 guys I personally would have selected going into the shootout would have been Paul Cotter, Jesper Bratt, Timo Meier. That would be my top 3. Now, you want to change the order? Okay, but that would be my top 3. And tonight, I probably would have went Nico 4, and then I have to really analyze. Jack is not, maybe he'd be 5 or 6. I don't know. I'd have to really look at some other guys career stats, obviously, Jack, I believe going into this game was 19% career. I don't think anyone needed to be told, if you've been a Devils fan or been following the Devils, that Jack Hughes is not great in the shootout. And I understand he's the franchise player and they want to put him in all these scenarios. They're letting him kill penalties and stuff. But I thought it was a horrible error there by Keefe to put Jack out in the shootout. I understand why he did it. And, had he scored, it would have been a huge confidence boost, this, that, and the other thing. But he had a terrible boneheaded giveaway. He's behind the net. And I hate to pile on the kid. I mean, listen, he's learning. He's still very young. Trying to get better in all areas, but he still has a lot of that recklessness in him. And in the overtime, I think it was Bennett was converging on him behind the net, and he knew he was about to get hit. And I think he got a little scared, and he flung it right up the middle. He served it right up the middle. Luckily, the Panthers missed the net, but you got, again, making this puck. You can't be giving pucks away like that, especially in overtime, and he has to make better decisions with the puck. And it comes in time and just repetition and whatever else, studying film. But it wasn't a pretty overtime for him, especially with that play. And I don't think he should have been out on the shootout. But, we have the shootout. Exciting stuff. We see Cotter go. Beautiful move by Paulie Cotter. I mean, the mitts on this guy. Oh, Paul Cotter is a treat. And I'm so glad he was sent out there because he was on my ideal shootout list. Paul Cotter buries it. Beautiful finish. Barkov goes after him. Beats Markey, low stick side. Beautiful snipe there by Markov. Bratter comes down next. Has a nice idea to go backhand over the glove. He goes high over the net. Markey makes a big save on Reinhardt after that. And now we head to the third and final frame. And Jack Hughes just terrible shot on the breakaway. And then Lundell for the win. And he beats Markey. Game over. That's all she wrote. Panthers win 2-1. And it was a battle. We lost a grueling battle. Your boy Ace has been battling with the sleep deprivation and some other things. But I will tell you, the special projects department of Running with the Devils, which coincidentally is ran by your boy Ace, as part of running the special projects department of Running with the Devils, we've got a lot of exciting stuff kind of moving around in the orbit right now. And it makes it hard to sleep sometimes. There's things you got to do, plan for, but random tangent. Anyone still not want Taylor Hall? Oh, man, we get to the game stats. Panthers, 28 shots on goal, Devils, 27. Face-offs pretty close. Panthers, 52.9%, Devils, 47.1%. Panthers with 42 hits. My God, heavier, edgier, more violent. We saw the heavier, edgier, more violent Devils tonight. I have to say, overall, yes, I would have liked to see an increased level of aggression and gloves actually off and men actually punched in their mouths after the hit on Nico. But, there was something there. It wasn't completely lifeless. Devils with 30 hits. A lot of hits there, too, but 42. This is playoff hockey, guys. You saw tonight when I've been talking about it from last season, when I basically said I wanted to be heavier, edgier, more violent, but without that phrase. Just said we were soft and we needed the grit and the sandpaper and the tough guys, yada, yada. Fitzy acknowledges it, and you see why the Panthers have been the blueprint for success in the league. They went to the Cup 2 years ago and lost. Go back to the Cup last year and win, and these guys play playoff hockey all year long, man. It's no fun and games out there. The Panthers are out there to win, and they play a hard game. 14 block shots, the Panthers, 19 for the Devils. Panthers, 14 giveaways, Devils with 11 giveaways, which is probably the least they've given it away in a while. Panthers, 2 takeaways, Devils, 7 takeaways, and that's all she wrote. Your New Jersey Devils get a loser point on home ice tonight against the Florida Panthers in a battle. I mean, do you know how hard it is to beat a team like that 3 games out of 3, to sweep them on the season? I mean, it's hard enough to beat even any team, just pick any random team out of a hat. It's difficult to beat them 3 times within a season. But when you're talking about the defending Cup champs, a team that plays the way they do, that has the players they have, it would have been nice to do it. It would have really been nice to do it, but you see that it's not easy to close that out. And the Panthers responded tonight. They're champions. They've been here before. They are fully accustomed to the grind. And I hate to say it, and I hate to say this. This is another kind of little side tangent here, but how can you not love the Kachuk brothers? I mean, my God, Matthew Kachuk is an absolute animal. He literally does everything. He is the definition of heavier, edgier, more violent. He'll throw the hits. He'll drop the mitts. Can pass, can shoot, can score, can skate. Just absolute leader, absolute warrior. And the good thing about that for those of you that are also American is that this guy is going to be on Team USA for the Four Nations and in the Olympics in Milan, Italy next year. And he's going to be a beast for Team USA. If you guys don't love Matthew Tkachuk now, if you follow these international hockey tournaments, being the Four Nations coming up in about a month or so, which is I'm jacked up for that, and then the Olympics next winter. If you're watching these USA games and you're a fan of USA hockey, you are absolutely going to love Matthew Tkachuk wearing the red, white, and blue, because this kid, absolute throwback and one of the most talented and entertaining players in the National Hockey League, in my opinion, today. But looking forward to seeing him on the team I'm rooting for. All right, it's time to get to the comments. I'm afraid of what the Doomers are going to be saying. I've kind of scanned it. The chat is kind of flying here, so bear with me. I'll start here. Jay Snow, Jay Snow has slowly started. I'm not going to call him a doomer, but if he was like, kind of neutral in the middle of this whole thing, he's like slowly taking a couple steps closer to the doomer side, in my opinion. Now, I understand he believes all this stuff, but it's never as bad as you think, Jay Snow. Timo needs to wake up. He does. He's getting chances. I mean, guys go through this. It's unfortunate. It sucks. It's only a matter of time before he buries one, but I get the frustration. I was feeling good about him tonight. For some reason, I just had that. I thought pregame that Timo was going to bury one. And then Brian follows it up with trade Timo. It's never happening, guys. Cody Skills, we need to straighten up against the Leafs on Thursday. Big game coming up. I mean, listen, they played well enough to win tonight for sure. And with a similar effort, I think they could beat the Leafs. With that being said, obviously, you would like to see the defensive play tighten up, and you wouldn't like to see those chances against. Another night where, Jacob Markstrom was an overwhelming, plot line of the movie here. And you don't want that to be the case every night. I want those easy breezy 12-shot shutouts that Markey got a couple weeks back before the doomed holiday break against the Pens and the Rangers. That is the type of workload I would love to see Markey have on some nights. And again, not tonight. He had to work again and gave the Devils a chance, and that's all you could ask for. Just another great outing from Jacob Markstrom. Ryder64, I wanted Nico in the shootout as well. David says Hughes needs to play a smarter game. Brian Timo is playing like a $4 million player. I think that's a bit of a stretch. Jay Snow, if they play like they did tonight defensively going forward, they'll be all right. I could agree with that. Devin G, Timo always turns it on after the All-Star break. Well, in this case, the elongated Four Nations face-off break. Yo, Snan, you guys just don't see what Timo Meier does. He definitely isn't playing $8 million hockey, but if we didn't have him, we'd be doomed. I don't know if we'd be doomed, but I agree with the sentiment that, that these people are overreacting, and he does have a value on the team, 100%. Nicole Lee, what's up? The melee made my day, to be honest. Would have loved a bigger fight, but I'll take the fights I can get. Yeah, it was a melee, but again, given the characters involved, the long kind of history now, ongoing feud between Matthew Tkachuk and Nico Hischier, of all people, the nicest guy in the league. That kind of bad blood storyline in the moment, in the game. I'm glad Siegenthaler did what he did. I would have liked to see, again, a bigger response from the other guys. Peel away from the pile and just start jackhammering people. But I digress. At least they responded with something, and it was an entertaining melee. Brian J, wrong. We could use that money on a player who actually scores goals. You guys all like to play, armchair GM with, revisionist history. Timo's one of our toughest forwards, and we don't have many of them. You take a guy like Timo out of the lineup, it's not a good thing. Jay Snow, I saw exactly what Timo does. Not like Timo a lot, but we need him to chip in some offense. Yeah, I agree there too. He definitely needs to. Stick figs, we may have to keep Jack off the ice past 60 minutes. I forget who coined the phrase. I'm trying to give credit. See, I got to start putting these things down, guys. My bad. This is it's a lot of shit to remember. But someone said on one of the comments, Jack giveth and Jack taketh away. Because I was saying live by the sword, die by the sword, and so it was kind of a variation on that. But it's kind of true. It's like high risk, high reward kind of stuff. And it seems like in overtime lately, it's a little bit of what it is. But the 3-on-3 overtime in the NHL is wild. There's just so much open ice, and guys like Jack get flying out there. It's crazy. Amagi says Nico should have been the third shooter, not Jack. I'd accept that. I would have went with Timo. I feel like Timo was due, and in that scenario, I think he would have came up big. But I would accept Nico, and then in that case, Timo would have had to be number 4 for sure. Yo, Snan, once Timo starts scoring, he's a perfect power forward. Yeah, I love Timo. You're preaching to the choir. He's one of the many guys I defend constantly, it feels like. Resting Guitar Face, what's going on? Agreed on bad officiating with the Chuck hit. I thought the Chuck was charging. He deserved a penalty. That said, Nico and Sieg definitely should have had roughing penalties. Fine with me. Yeah, it's crazy. We got away with one there, and we couldn't capitalize on the ensuing power play. That was kind of a gift from the refs. We've been owed one for a while. We finally got one, and we squandered it. And we absolutely squandered it. Jay Snow, I'm Keith. I'm stapling Jack to the bench in OT. We ain't winning them anyway. That's never going to happen. Insane Pollock, Jack stinks in the shootout. Jay Snow, growing up and realizing you don't need a highlight play every night. Yeah. Ryder, I'd rather Jack learn from his mistakes right now and figure it out by the playoffs. Yeah, that would be nice. We don't have 3-on-3 overtimes in playoffs, and so we're not going to be in such a kind of high risk situation with the game on the line. But Jack giveth, Jack taketh away. And he coughed that puck up the middle, and luckily nothing came of it. But SST says we need Brendan Smith in the shootout. Jeter Toker, no send Big Mac. Oh, thank you. I could always rely on you guys to kind of pick up the slack when I forget. There's just a lot of shit going on. It's a lot to do this, guys. I'm not going to lie. To remember everything, and I take a couple notes, but to watch the game, and then, it's a lot of stuff, and I always miss some small things. So thank you to those in the chat that just give me cues. Curtis McDermott, baby. What a game for Curtis McDermott. For all the haters, sit your ass down. Tonight was an absolute war, and you want a guy like Curtis out there laying the body all night long. Let's see how many hits they credit him with. They credit him with 4 hits. He should have been credited with more. But he was just crunching guys all night long. Love to see it. Timo also with 4 hits. Palat and Bastion with 2 hits apiece. Lazar with 2 hits. Cotter with 3 hits. Jesper Bratt with 4 hits. Tatar with 2 hits. And the defense, Brendan Dillon with 2 hits. Dougie with 3 hits. Somehow Kovacevic, none. Pesci 1. To combine for the Devils 30 hits on the evening. Jay Snow. Dano says it all the time. You have to be willing to take a hit to make a pass. Yeah, he as they say, he heard the steps. He knew he was about to get lit up, and he kind of panicked, and he just served it right up the middle. Terrible play. Oh man, Jeff, too bad we don't have a Victor Kozlov shootout specialist anymore. Oh my God. Underrated throwback comment. Victor Kozlov was an absolute animal for the Devils in the shootout. I don't remember if it was career or one season. At one point, I believe his career percentage was like possibly number 1. What a throwback. Victor Kozlov, one of the many rando guys we had on the team over, the course of the years. Stick figs. McDermott third and shootout. Everyone would have been so flabbergasted, and McD would have sauced it right past night. Man, that's funny. Ryder. Nason would have been out there if he was playing. Would I have put Nason in my top 3 if he was playing tonight? Probably. I would have probably had Cotter, Nason, Bratt, Timo 4, Nico 5. Diego, got a point, but need more scoring. This team is not convincing me they're the real deal. I mean, listen, they weren't playing some scrubs tonight. They were playing the defending Cup champs, 2-time defending Eastern Conference champs, a team built for this warfare play. I mean, it sucks that we lost, obviously, but you saw a very competitive game. A very competitive game that the Devils were into the very, very end. Losing in the 3rd round of a shootout is as close of a game as there physically can be in the National Hockey League in the regular season in 24-25. Losing in the last round, I guess I take that back. My bad, because someone's going to write this in the chat and flame me. I guess the closest game you could lose would be like a 10-round shootout loss or something. But a 3-round shootout loss, that's as close as it gets. David, or better yet, send Keith and see what he's got with the tie and everything. Does Sheldon get on the ice? Jason, if this team had a sufficient depth scoring, it makes a huge difference. No, I agree there too, but I don't think. I mean, there was just so many chances over the course of the night, but yeah, depth scoring obviously is a great thing to have, and it doesn't seem to be something we have at the moment. Hopefully, with a couple tinkerings, it does happen. I did obviously make that video that many of you probably saw, or many of you just decided to comment on without watching the video, as evidenced by your comment. With all that aside, I saw a lot of people have talked about it in this chat, and I've seen like articles and blogs and whatever else mentioning the possibility of Taylor Hall to the Devils. So I obviously had to make a video about it, kind of weighing in and analyzing the whole thing. So if you haven't seen that, check out my, I think it's called Should the Devils Have a Taylor Hall Reunion or something like that. It's one of I think it's the most recent video. So check that on the channel. I talk about that. But Zach, we appreciate your dedication. Thank you, sir. SST. Marchenko scored a shootout winner tonight. I want Marchenko on this team badly instead of Meyer. Devin, keep it up, Ace. Without you here, these losses would suck. The losses still suck. Now we're just boozing together. Then the man, close losses like this blow. Ryder, honestly, Mercer looked good. Snow, the kid is underperforming. Brian J, I wish we had Toffoli right now. I mean, you want to pay $6 million for that? Zach W, I want Ryan O'Reilly. I would love Ryan O'Reilly on this team. Absolutely love Ryan O'Reilly, a very gritty gentleman who's been down the road, been in playoff wars, won a cup, doesn't make a ton of dough, but he has 2 years beyond this year left on his deal. To me, he's almost as perfect of a third line center as you could get. A lot of you have been talking about it. I love Ryan O'Reilly. Would love to see it. I just think there's going to be, if he is truly on the trading block from Nashville, I think teams are going to offer a good amount, a nice return for him. And we don't have the first round pick this year because it was traded in the Markstrom deal. And so then, do teams try to wrestle one of your prized defensive prospects away from you? And I personally don't think I could do that for Ryan O'Reilly. Love the guy. Resting guitar face looked like playoff hockey, and I think our boys answered the call. We lost, but it was a good outing. Keep the 5-on-5 instead of OT, and I think we win. Probably. I mean, listen, it was back and forth. It was going to come down to somebody getting lucky, and we got unlucky in the shootout. It was wild. A wild one. Nicole, first 2 periods, we held our own. We got some life back to us in the third. That OT and shootout may cause me to have a heart attack. We need to work on shooting overall. Yeah, I was fired up. I was absolutely fired up during the third and overtime, and I really just wanted to see it would have been a signature New Jersey Devils win on the season. I mean, a win like that really gets a group juiced up. I was hoping to see it. We didn't get to see it. On to the next one, Thursday in Toronto. Brett Rossi, Nason is the kind of guy you wanted to have tonight. Sad he was out sick. Yeah, absolutely blows. You love a guy like Nason. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Obviously has the scoring touch. Sorely missed in the matchup for sure. For sure. And hopefully he's back for the Thursday game. When they say illness, you don't know what the hell. Hopefully it's just like a little stupid cold or something. And and then he's back for Toronto. Devin, 2-0-1 decent series. Absolutely. 5 of 6 points against the Panthers. I mean, you sign up for that 100 times out of 100. I mean, 5 out of 6 points against the defending champs with 2 of the games being in their barn. I take that all day. John, hey, Ace just got back from the game. Yeah, you saw a great one. You saw an absolute great one. London, would you take Nico over Jack in the shootout? Yes. I don't know. I guess I'm still obviously always trailing a couple minutes behind. I definitely take Nico over Jack in the shootout for sure. Devin says Nico over Jack, Timo over Brett. I definitely would put Bratter out there in my top 3 every time. I mean, he's just been so good and so consistent for so long, and he is decent on the shootout. I put him out every time, but Nico over Jack, I agree. Brian J, I wish Timo was like Kachuk. Nicole also says Nico over Jack. But back to you wish Timo was like Kachuk. The Kachuk brothers are freaks of nature. They are descendants of Big Walt. Former NHL legend Keith Kachuk. And his kids are even nastier than he was, I think. And he was a nasty mo. It's not surprising that they're both, all-star caliber players in the league. And they're both absolute dogs. Dogs. David, where's Holla been actually? Holla is hurt. Husky and Chain, we simply don't have the scoring ability. 27 shots in regulation is too many against the Cup champs. Need to turn back the clock a month for sure. Where is the lockdown defense? Has anyone seen the New Jersey Devils lockdown defense from before the holiday break? If you have seen them, tell them to contact myself or the New Jersey Devils. We'd love to have them back. Jason, if the Devils aren't stacking wins, I could care less about Four Nations. Well, I'm still going to like Four Nations. Blackatron, Timo needs to give his agent a call and have a long talk with Timo about being more of a nuisance. Blackatron obviously referring to the agent of Timo Meier, one former New Jersey Devils legend, two-time Cup champion, Conn Smythe winner in 1995, one of my favorites and yours if you're an old school fan, number 22, Claude Lemieux, the man hovering over my head right here. There he is with that 1995 Conn Smythe trophy after a playoff run for the ages. The quintessential agitator, get under your skin guy that every guy in the league hated playing against and loved having him on their team. And maybe Timo should give him a call. Or maybe Claude should just call him. But either way, that is such a funny connection. Winnie, in October, if anyone said it would be 5 points out of the regular, we would get 5 points out of the regular season series of Florida, I would have been ecstatic. Absolutely, Winnie. Thought we mostly played a good game tonight. Defense was much better. Yeah, 5 out of 6. It just sucks that this comes in the string of, how they've been playing lately. So now we're what? 2-4-2 in the last 8. I mean, it's kind of brutal. That I'm always going to keep lumping those losses in there on the last kind of look back. 2-4-2 is not good. Ryder, I think the opposite. I've agreed with Snow a lot lately. Timo had good chances, couldn't just put it away. Oh, sorry, guys. See, I have tons of screens. I can't. AJ Valero, sorry for the delay there. I have a lot of screens up, and so I wasn't visible. Thank you for the super chat. Palat is a 2 or 3 mil player max. Yeah, of course. But at the time we signed him, we were a young team. They were looking for veteran leadership, a guy that was proven in the playoffs, could produce a little bit in the regular season, and he seemed like an attractive kind of fit for the roster. And they paid the man. They paid him. Now, is he getting overpaid? Absolutely. But I can't, we've been talking about this forever. There's nothing you're going to do. He could potentially be a buyout candidate in the summer. I don't think he's going anywhere this year. And so, hope that he has a monster playoff and make some big plays and some big moments for your New Jersey Devils, because I do think he is more than capable of it. Kieran, thank you for the super chat. There is nothing there. So I don't know if you meant to put a note there, but appreciate you as well. All right, let me see if I could kind of fast forward to more current times now. A lot of dooming in the comments. A lot of dooming in the comments. Okay, Kieran, thank you. Thanks for all that you do. You are awesome. Let's get more physical. God. I mean, listen, we've come a long way since last year, right? I mean, Bastian laying in the pool of blood after Rempe crushed him, and then Siegenthaler getting dummied by Rempe, and just all the nonsense and the crimes that were committed against us that went unpunished last season. There's obviously a lot more bite in this team, but I'd like to see them ratchet it up another level. Like, again, when you crush a guy like Nico and it's Kachuk of all people, I would like to see more of a response there, personally. Would personally like to see more of a response, and that response should come in the form of dropping the mitts and crushing people right in the face. More people hating on Big Mac. Brandon, I don't think anyone is surprised we lost in the shootout. Devils are probably the worst team in the league for breakaways and shootout. Cotter is the only person with enough skill to score in a shootout. I'm not going to lie. The only reason I was optimistic once overtime ended was because I thought Markey just might straight up steal it, and again, I'm not blaming him by any stretch. He played phenomenally in the game. He's been playing phenomenally for the past few weeks for sure. Really all of December, most of December, and through the new year. But hypothetically, he could have stole it for real if he stopped every shootout shot. Obviously, that's asking for a lot. But outside of that, he did his part and Cotter did his. Cotter with the silky, silky mitts. Insane Pollock calling for SST to hand in his Devils card. SST says, what a steal Meyer is. Continuing to hate. Husky, Nico is the captain. He's a leading goal scorer. He had the only goal tonight. Got to be first in the shootout. Yeah, he should probably be in the top 3. I would have probably had him at 4, just because I feel like Timo's been so due to break through. Cotter was an easy one for me, and then Bratter I'm always putting in. So probably Nico would have been my 4th, but I wouldn't have complained if he was in the top 3. I just selecting Jack in his 19% career average is interesting pick. Alex, Timo's not having a bad season. He's been snake bitten. People are completely overreacting. We're constantly getting chances with Nico Timo on the ice and defending very well while doing it. Kevin Kirk, Jack, Dougie, or Pesci can ruin a hard-fought 60-minute game in OT or shootout. Terrified when they're all on the ice lately, and if more than one of them are out at once, it seems like we're always in trouble. I mean, listen, if you play a lot in the overtime, a lot of open ice out there. A lot of guys are going to say, at some point they're going to do something where, makes you say, whoa, but high risk, high reward in the OT session. Devin, Dougie for sure in OT scares me. Just moves like a robot sometimes, very sluggish. In OT, you need fast breakaways. Yeah, but think about the times where the Devils now are working it around with sustained pressure in the O-zone. They're working it around, and Dougie kind of starts to roam at the top, and then it creeps down kind of into one of the circles or down the middle into the slot. We've seen a lot of times in the past where that type of thing happens, and Dougie just rips a ridiculous shot into the net. So I get it. In terms of transition and breakout, Dougie's not your most overtime friendly defenseman. But once the Devils have that possession, I always like to see Dougie at least get a little look out there in overtime, because he does have that sick shot. SST, enjoy 55 points, 8.8 Meyer for another 7 years. I mean, come on, bro. When are you going to give it a rest? The hockey pal. We need Brady on our team. I would love Brady. It's just never going to happen now. That ship has sailed. Amagi, Timo stole SST's tooth fairy money, I guess. That's that's an interesting, that's an interesting conjecture there. And then SST says Timo stole the Devil's future. This guy's wild. This man has lost his mind. Timo stole the Devil's future. Come on, man. Brian J. Claude Lemieux was the most clutch dude ever. Timo only scores when we don't need him. Oh, everyone just piling on Timo. My God. Correction, Fitzgerald did when we signed Timo. More just dooming. Wolf Rockin', what's going on? 13 goals for Claude in the 95 playoffs. Absolute beast. So blessed to have seen him play live ace. Let's go Devils. Yeah, what an era. What an absolute era. Claude Lemieux. Go look him up on YouTube if you're not familiar. More dooming. Jay Snow says even the Rangers got a ton of scoring from the third line. Joe, we're fine. Just need to come out of the slump and find our finishing touch again. Will be interesting to see what moves get made, but I do think most realistic is a third line center. Yeah, and I mentioned this in one of the comments, probably on the Taylor Hall video. Cotter has played center before. Do we see them try Cotter at center at some point? Also, Dawson Mercer also used to play center. So I do find it interesting when you have two guys on the third line that have both played center with our kind of questionable bottom six overall, or not questionable, whatever you want to call it, bottom six that could use a nice revamping or, retooling of some kind. That we have two guys on the third line that have both played center before that have not been tried out at center yet this year. I do think that gives you some flexibility. And before we really figure out at the deadline or whenever Fitz decides to pull the trigger and make a move, I would like to, audition one or both of them at center and maybe play with some other kind of line combinations to see what we're really working with here before we go out and get a guy in the market. Kevin Kirk, let's get some some likes. Well over 100 people here, not even 50 likes. Show Ace some love. Let's go Devils. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Yo, hit the thumbs up, you bums. Come on, don't be stingy. Hit the thumbs up. Let's go Devils 95, 2000, 2003. Obviously, has nothing to do with tonight's game, but I just saw breaking news that Malkin got his house broken into and his cup ring stolen. Oh, that's terrible. That's absolutely atrocious. Someone broke into Malkin's house and stole his cup rings. Super unfortunate. Wild. Wild stuff. How you not having like in a safe or something? Devils Wolf. Yeah, no more shootouts for Jack Hughes. Brandon Thomas, I think we need more one-timers from Timo. He usually scores them. When he floats around in that circle, especially on the power play, and gets fed and he just gets to wind up, Timo's got a bomb. Timo has an absolute bomb. My buddy Goody, why are there Rags fans in here pretending to be Devils fans? Believe it or not, I do believe they're all actually Devils fans, which is kind of crazy to think about, really, that, Devils fans. But this is nothing new, so I don't know why people are shocked by it. Roland, can we consider Jack an elite player if he is this streaky? I feel like Nico is more consistent and reliable. I think you can. I mean, the point totals are the point totals, right? I do think Jack is an elite player, but I'd be lying if I said I thought he was in the super elite category, with the Connor McDavids, Matthew Kachuks, Austin Matthews, Nathan McKinnon's of the world, Kucherov. I definitely don't put him in that category. I put him in the elite category, which is right below. Those other guys I just mentioned and a bunch of others, Cale Makar, I would put them in the super elite category. Brandon Thomas only sent Jack on a shootout one against the Rangers, right? He probably would score then. Keeping up with the Devils, what's going on? Markstrom just keeps on show after show. Yeah. Marky, clearly the team MVP thus far on the season, on the young season. Jacob Markstrom, and especially in the last, week and a half or whatever it's been, completely insane performances. And in a lot of these games, I think the Devils would be thoroughly mopped up if it was not for the stellar play that we've been getting from Jacob Markstrom. So, you guys know how I feel about Marky. It's well documented. SST, Rangers' bottom three is on fire lately, scoring goals in bunches and winning them games, including tonight against the Avs. Meanwhile, Devils bottom six. Yeah, the bottom six needs help. It's not gonna stay stagnant. It obviously will be changed in some way before the playoffs, I'd have to believe. Now, it might not be a major change or the change that a lot of you, including SST, are looking for. But you are going to see at least a change, I believe. Brian J., think about how many Nason Cotter players we could get for the money we pay Timo. But this is where you get crazy. Where are they readily available? And who are they? Are they free agents? And you're just going to – the Cotter thing is lightning in a bottle. Nason is outperforming his contract by a lot. You're not getting anyone in the league, period, for what we pay Stefan Nason to give you that kind of production and that kind of gameplay. An insane value. Devils Wolf, Claude was a rat. He loved to hit people behind the head and then hide behind defensemen. I mean, he dropped the mitts with a lot of guys. True Patriot says Nason the difference tonight. Yeah, he was obviously missed. We're in a war without one of our wartime guys. It sucks, but hopefully he's in there Thursday against the Leafs. Another huge game. And I really hope we see Markey. Again. Michael, bit of a scoring slump. They haven't looked as in sync lately. Might be time to mix the lines up here and try to spark something. Not panicking though. I wouldn't oppose that. Obviously, we played a very good team, and they were clamping down. But in the end, you look at the body of work over the past couple of weeks. We're not exactly lighting the lamp at an alarming rate, and so I wouldn't be against, trying some different combinations to see what we got. Wolf, rockin'. Are the Panthers still trying to move Bennett, or was that just a bunch of BS? Ace? I have no idea. I just couldn't believe that Zito in Florida would do that. Bennett's an absolute playoff type dog, and a big contributor to the team, especially in the playoffs. I would be shocked if they traded Bennett, to be honest. I just don't see how the Panthers don't keep him for the playoff run. My buddy, why do you change your channel name all the time? Hiding from the feds. Who is that in reference to? I'm lost on that one. Jack missed the net. Just complete ass in OT. Don't talk about Jack. You'll be a doomer. No, I said he had a bad play in overtime, and he shouldn't have been in the shootout, in my opinion. But, what are you going to do? I don't think that's being a doomer. Devils Wolf. Timo hasn't scored, but he's done a lot on the ice. I like them. I'd love them on the team. Marshall, was anyone else at the game thought Barkov missed the first penalty shot, and the arena seemed to react that way too? No, man. That was a sick shot by Barkov, an elite talent, and he might be taking another Selke down this season. Blue Figs, whoa, I don't think everyone here is a Devils fan. Uh-oh. Devin G, it looked like a post hit. If it was barely in. John Fay, I object to this Timo abuse. And before I get jumped, my reason is because he got an assist on Nico's goal and he's in a slump. But then again, so is most of our players. And I think that's kind of a good take a step back and look at what's really going on here. And I do think it's, as the team slumps, a lot of people in general and people in this chat at the very moment, they need to point the finger and blame someone. I don't need to do that. Sometimes the team is just going through a rough patch, which affects most of the guys to some extent. And a lot of them will have their sort of portion of the blame, if you will. And so for the people that want someone to hang after every game, I mean, I guess they're guys that they're going to point at on a lot of nights as Timo. But the whole team is kind of struggling right now. True Patriot leaving Markey out to dry, not good. I completely agree there. Brandon Thomas, I think last season did some damage to Jack. I think he's lost a lot of his confidence and too afraid to make risks when it comes to scoring. I don't think he's afraid to make risks. I mean, we're seeing some risks. And he's going to have a good season statistically when it's all said and done. I just hope that when the playoffs come around, he could kind of elevate his game and step up in big moments. And obviously, over the course of the season, he has stepped up in big moments, but he's also not stepped up in big moments. And you hope you get more of the, yes, step up come playoff time. Jay Snow, Devils actually had more high dangers than Florida. That's not surprising. Insane Pollock, how many posts and crossbars has Timo hit the last 10 games? The guy is snake bitten, and you guys are hating on him. Yeah, it's crazy. He's getting chances. He's generating chances. He's involved in some of the physicality. Definitely a heavier, edgier, more violent forward for the Devils. And people just, unfortunately, the insane Pollock, a lot of the people here cannot look beyond the points. And so when you're just looking at points, when guys like Timo are going through stretches like they're going through now, or that he's going through now, they're going to point the finger and do what they do. Timo sucks. He's overpaid, blah, blah, blah. I'm not buying any of it whatsoever. But again, these people need to satisfy their need to say him. And that's fine. Roland, I think Devils fans are just frustrated that Meyer is making more than Hughes, Bratt, but also cost the Devils. Zetterlund, Shakir, I can't say his last name, Kleber, Musty, 4 high-end pieces. I mean, let's not get crazy. High-end pieces? I don't know if that's high-end pieces. It's a decent trade package. I don't think I could call every one of those pieces high-end, but I get it. But you also have to say, what were you people rolling? What were you expecting? Were you expecting 80, 90 points every year? It seems like SST was, and some others, you wanted 80, 90 points. I'm sorry to say that was never, I don't think, in the cards or what he was brought here to do. Now, would I like to see more production than what he's doing right now? Absolutely. Obviously, wouldn't we all? I'd say that about every player. You always want to see more production, but he does bring other intangibles that people are just completely discrediting and then playing armchair GM that if we took his money and then they go pick out 3 of the best contracts in the league and just be like, yeah, we could take his money and get these guys. And that's a fun game to play because it's completely unrealistic. SST, if Markstrom is the MVP, what does it say about the Devils as a team? It says that Markstrom's the best player on the team right now. I mean, it means exactly what it means. Amagi, Kachuk is a rat unless he's on your team. Agree. And Kachuk in the red, white, and blue is going to be nice. Jay Snow, I'd like to see them bring up a couple AHL guys for Bashin and Tatar. I've been saying I'm not against it forever. Hallinan and Legary would be my 2 picks. Hallinan hasn't gotten a look yet. Legary, I thought, looked very good in the couple games or the few games he played. Not too long ago when Lazar and Bastion were out. I'd like to see him brought back, but I definitely would like to see Legary get another look. Michael, let's go Panthers, man. Panthers played a good game tonight. Joseph, I'm on board with 5-on-5 jousting with sticks and hand-to-hand combat over shootouts and OT. McDermott would shine in OT. Yeah, I was hoping he was going to get a shift there. Devils Wolf, we at least got a point. Wasn't a bad game. They did really well. I think Jack being on the shootout line was the problem, but still 5 out of 6 points, not bad. Yeah, completely agreed. But it just sucks that the win was right there for the taking and we couldn't finish the job. Brandon, if we're having this much trouble scoring during the regular season, playoffs will be another level. We need to figure this out. Ideally, we'd like to see more goals. Who wouldn't? SST, when will the fan base start turning on Timo if he carries on like that? I guess never. I'm guessing never too, SST, because most people value the other stuff. Wolf Rock, and even with Marky and Net, I've been worried about the Leafs game for a while now, Ace, like a 6-2 worry. I pray I'm wrong, but that team scares me, bro. What do you think, Ace? Thanks, bud. I have to think they're going to win. They got to be fired up for Keefe. The Leafs beat us both times already at home. And again, like I just said earlier tonight, how the Devils were setting out to sweep the 3-game series, season series with the Panthers, already beating them twice at their home. This was their last chance to get on the board and avoid getting swept. And now the Devils have to do the same thing tomorrow. They have to go into another team's building that beat them twice in their own barn. It's the exact scenario. Thursday, we are what the Panthers were tonight. These guys beat us twice on our rink. Now we have to go into theirs and avoid the series sweep and then the season sweep. And then obviously the whole Keefe plot line. They got to get it done for him. And I think the boys are going to respond. I hope Marky's in net. Nancy, we need bottom 6 depth. That's all this team needs. It's as simple as that. I think, obviously the biggest need is just that. I still would like to see, even though Palat has been playing good, I'm still not sold on him being on that Jack and Bratter line if there is a better possibility. I'm not, slandering the man's name or anything like that. I'm just saying if there is a potential to get somebody who could be a better fit with those 2 guys, I definitely explore it. John Fay, okay, Ace, I'm going to go see you on the next one. Take care, John. Devin, yep, a bottom 6 player trade, which we were told is coming, and I think will be solid. Defense looked nice tonight. Insane Pollock, no Woodson tonight. Wonder if maybe he's under one of these new accounts being a new doomer. Jay Snow, I don't know why they want to trade for a defenseman. Yeah, I thought that was crazy. And the fact that, Weeksy seemed so certain about it. Like he was speaking with conviction. It wasn't like, oh, I heard this rumor, or it seemed like it was like, he was like in the room when Fitzy was making calls or something. Definitely interesting. Again, because we have so many defensemen waiting in the wings, to hear that we might be looking for a defenseman, I thought was definitely odd as well. And I mentioned that a while back. We'll see how this all unfolds. SST, when Plot does not show up, everyone trade him. When Meyer plays like crap, he is snake bitten. I'm not saying trade Palat at all. B Ted, SST. So when they were getting setting record for shots against, you said Markstrom was just winning by benefiting from good team defense. Now Markey is the team MVP only because the team is bad. Which is it? Ooh. Which is it, SST? True Patriot, agree on Snake Bit and Timo. People want 30 plus out of Timo. Zetterlund has looked good. Think he would fit well here. Well, that's not happening. But yeah, obviously having Zetterlund right now would be an amazing luxury. Magi, Timo got this sea of haters last season when the March of Meyer came about. What a march it was. I think led the league with either 14 or 15 goals. And hopefully he can start burying some of these chances. It seems like he's getting at least a couple every single night. My buddy, the team still has a few more levels to reach, and personally, I don't think they'll get there this season. According to some Dallas fans, it took the Stars a season or two to shake off a rough system. Well, I hope we could go to that we could go on a deep run at a minimum. Would love to see them win it all, obviously, but a deep run would be nice. And maybe it's not their time yet. Maybe it is too early, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Paul Zinski, Devils could be 82-0 and SST would complain probably. Brandon, if Nason isn't back for Toronto, we probably lose for sure. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that necessarily. Gem Card, I need to start betting against the Devils so it's a win-win situation. I had a friend who did that. I hated when people did that. It's just, I think it was crazy. He would do that a lot. He would do it on fights that he was rooting for a guy too, and he'd be like, "Oh, if the guy wins," I'm like, "Okay, well then if your guy wins though, you're happy that the guy won, but then you're happy you lost money. Like, how does that work? These people just need something to be happy about no matter what." Maria D was there. Disappointed no Dermy fight. He was mouthing at Greer though. What's going on, Maria? That was a crazy game. I almost went, but I decided not to. But what a crazy one. The arena looked like it was fired up at several points. We had a little bit of everything. Goal scoring, a little physicality. It was a very entertaining game. It's just a shame that it couldn't end in a Devils win. Nancy, get Bastion and Tatar off this team ASAP. They're absolutely useless. I'm not going to say absolutely useless, but, do I think we could find upgrades? I have to believe yes. Wolf Rockin', very true. Thanks, Ace. I like that perspective. We have to win for Keith later, my friend. Take care, Wolf. Jay Snow says, and Ace compares me to SST. I didn't compare you to SST. I just said you're taking a couple more steps towards Camp Doomer. That's all. I didn't say you're fully there. I didn't compare you to SST. Brian, great. We have to wait till March to get Timo to get going. I hope not. I hope not. Jack, enough with the nonsense. Change at the bottom six in literally any way via line juggling, call up or trade. I'm on board with that, Jack. I've wanted to see some Albany guys for a couple weeks now. And maybe we will soon, or maybe we won't. It seems like they're in love with Bastion and Tatar. So I don't know. We'll see. SST, Meyer was hot in March. Where did it bring the Devils to? Was hot for 1 month and stayed cold for 6. Brandon says, I like to see Casey as a forward. Too bad that won't happen. Very rarely do moves like that ever, changing a guy's position at this stage, and especially in the NHL, very rare. And I think, you're asking for a whole lot. That's like video game stuff. Daniel, isn't an SST something you need to see a doctor for? Jack, get a finisher on the team. How many times are we going to see games where the opponent's goalie has a save percentage above 925 or higher? I'd imagine a lot, Jack. Was it Palat that had a chance to and shot high? I forget. There was just so many, and I was so fired up. I think Palat had a golden chance where he fired one in tight over the net. B-Ted, let's trade Timo from the Rags fourth line. Brian J., most of our players aren't getting paid $9 million. Jay Snow, Columbus is only 9 points back of us with 2 games in hand. We need to start stacking wins. This month is going to be really important. It's a very, very important month. And I did a video on that. If you haven't seen that video, check out the channel again for that. A video kind of looking at the rest of the month of January and what I expect from the Devils, what my prediction was, which obviously if you have a pro Devils prediction, heading into these last stretch of games, obviously this wasn't the best start for my prediction tonight. Joseph, Timo looks great besides the points. I don't get the hate. You said it yourself, Joseph. Besides the points, all these people look at are the points. The points and nothing but the points. And that's why the chirping doesn't stop. The hatred will never stop. The comments will never stop because all they look at is the points. And until the points are there, they're just going to keep grinding the same narrative game in and game out. Jason, Plot had a wide open side of the net. It's probably the one I'm thinking of. Jack, I'm up north of the border now, ready for Thursday. Want to see a game where the Devs can manage more than 3 goals. Oh yeah, Jack, you're going to the game, right? Are you staying? Are you in Montreal already? Montreal is a great city. I do want to go back soon. Preferably when it's warmer than, this time of year. Traveling Devil headed to Toronto in the morning for the game, expecting the offense to pick it up like the defense did tonight. No way the scoring drought lasts through January. No more procrastination getting to form. Man, it's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be an exciting one. Do I take an impromptu trip to Toronto? That's a whole lot. It's a lot of energy and a lot of, I don't know. How far is that drive? I think it's like 6 hours, and it's a short flight. Let's see. What is their thing called? The Air Canada Center? Oh, no. They changed to Scotiabank Arena. Oof. 7.5 hours. Yeah, nah. That's definitely not a drive. That's definitely a fly in. Very short flight. I like Toronto. Dude, I just hate the winter so much. As I get older now, I'm like, now I know why all the people, the old heads, go to Florida. The snowbirds, as they call them. They all fly down south like the birds because New York and New Jersey or Northeast or anywhere it's cold, Canada, winter's below. NJ Swamp Fox, Mercer handcuffed himself. Man, he had some chances too. Yeah, Mercer had one too. That Tatar one on the doorstep. Didn't even get a shot off. I don't know what the hell he was doing. Jack Markstrom better play too on Thursday. I'll throw stuff at the Devils on the ice during warm-up if Allen starts. I have a real bad feeling. Guys, that you might not see Markey. I don't know why. I hope we do. Brian, a bad stretch. He's been bad for over half the season. Again, you're just looking at points. Stick Figs. Ace, if you don't want us to hate on Timo, then tell us who to hate because we have to hate on someone. I don't know. Jason, no, I wanted 2-0-1 versus Tampa, Florida, and Toronto. We just need to beat the Leads, and I'll be good. The Leafs. Okay. I mean, that's 5 out of 6 against those 3 teams is obviously very good, and that's still on the table with a win against Toronto. Jack, I'm in Ontario now. True Patriot, great game to be at. Missing bottom 6 scoring is hurting the team. I think a move is needed. Have some mixed feelings going to Leafs game. Too much pressure right now to win for Keefe. I hope not. I really hope not. That would suck. If they sweep the season series and Keefe gets the loss in his return and we just didn't do anything to, he can't go 0-3. I mean, that is just brutal. To do that to Sheldon Keefe it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Traveling Devil obviously says do it. Brian J, I think Ace is related to Timo Manlove. No, we're not related. Timo seems to be a late season going guy. I mean, that's kind of been one of the the trends. Jason, no, this winter blows. Jack. Allen will get the first game on the back-to-back this week, and I can't remember if it's Ottawa or Philly, but he'll get the first game in Markstrom the second. Should be that way. Yeah, Philly's the first one. That was my preferred goalie rotation when I did it out for the last 8 games of January, which included tonight. I had Markey starting 6, Allen starting 2. The 2 Allen starts I had was the first home game of the back-to-back, which is against Philly, and then about a week later or so, a road game in Philly. Michael, what's going on? Good morning, Devils fans from Finland. Winters are fun, dark, no sun. Yeah, I couldn't live in a place like that. At all. That's another reason, aside from the cold, is why I hate the winters. I hate when it gets dark early. Gem card collecting, seeing how good Blackwood is just makes me depressed. Hope he wins a cup. I'm rooting for Blackwood too, obviously, unless it's so hard though because he's on the Avalanche, and I told you all, I'll always hate the Avalanche because of 2001, and so unfortunately, I can't root for Blackwood to win a cup. But a few days ago, I did say in a live, I believe, that I do think during his time there that he will win a cup. Joseph, hate on other teams instead of these players. That's easy. Husky Unchained, Markey, 3rd in wins, 3rd in goals against, top 10 save percentage. More than impressed. Yeah. How are you? You can't argue with that, right? That sums it up pretty well. Wolf Rockin', take the train to Toronto, Ace. A lot more comfortable, brother. Toronto is awesome. Hockey Hall of Fame. Yeah, I love Toronto. I've taken a train, I think, to Montreal before, and I've driven to Canada and flown. I've done a combo of both for a couple different cities. I will say, and I did take the train. I'm just not a public transportation guy. And the more I watch that you see these clips online or see on the news, like people are psychotic. I don't really like people to be around people in a confined thing like that. I don't think I could do the train. I think I just have to fly, which is the flying is painful as well for me, but it's just the least painful in a situation like this, just because it's the quickest. It's over the soonest. NJ Swamp Fox is going on. We have a scoring problem. Fitz needs to get to work. Your Hall idea and gritty bottom six guy with some scoring ability is what we need. I mean, there's a lot of things I think you could do to improve this team. I'm not going to be super nitpicky and want and be a wannabe GM like all of the folks in the comments and everything else like that. I was just thinking out loud with that Taylor Hall video. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I kind of analyzed the whole Taylor Hall thing and the potential of the Devils bringing him back. But I do think, there is several ways you could go about trying to improve the team overall. One of them would be something like that. And there's other guys. There's going to be other guys out there as well. I will be happy as long as I see it doesn't even have to be significant. It's just a clear win now move or moves from Fitz that I believe in this group. Our window is wide open. It's time to try to win a cup, and I'm going to make these deals to try to put these guys in the best position to compete for a cup this year. That's what I need to see. Jay Snow, Keefe still lives in Toronto. The guy's flying back and forth between games. That's crazy. It is pretty wild. When I heard that, I heard that maybe a couple months ago, and then he talked about it again recently. And I was like, damn, bro, that's some wild stuff. Traveling Devil, Olympic ticket lotto tomorrow. Wait, how do you know that? Damn it, dude. I wasn't prepared for all this. I'm trying to go to the Olympics. I get my email box. I've given up on trying to keep it decluttered now because the amount of garbage emails that I get daily, it's just impossible. It's an impossible tidal wave to dig from out of. I probably miss all kinds of shit because, the spam is just out of control. At one point, I was like unsubscribing to shit every day for like 20 minutes. And then I just gave up. I was like, it's over. The ship has taken on too much water. I'm here with a little cup trying to throw the water off the boat, and the water's just coming in. Just millions of junk emails. Jay Snow, the players might have a little too much free reign. I don't think they really do. I do think Keefe is, keeping them somewhat accountable, but I guess I can make the argument that he's not either. But, what do you want him to do? Bench guys? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, bench Jack and do this. Like, Keefe's giving him a little slack, and mistakes are going to happen. Michael says Kadri to NJ. I love it, but he makes way too much money. I like Kadri, though. I've liked him for a while. True Patriot Ace, don't you feel it's too much pressure for them against the Leafs? No. Obviously, it's a big game. All these games going forward are big games. But I don't think they're going to feel pressure. Gem card, obviously, hopefully we win a cup before him, but I'm rooting for Blackwood. I just hate the Avalanche so much. NJ Swamp Fox, Toronto refs taking Timo's real goal away has cursed him since. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Nason for goaltender interference. That never happened. What BS? Jay Snow, we need points. Screw Keeps moral victory over Toronto. Yeah, I want the 2 points. APOC, Blackwood and the Avs just beat the Rangers in OT. Nice. Chico, what's going on? I'm late, but overall satisfied tonight, considering a big chunk of the team was playing sick. Knight played really well. A bounce goes different than the Devils win in regulation. Very true. But it's like, I want to see that happen. I want to see it happen already instead of just, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But the loser point, again, another silver lining moral victory that I hate. But a point is a point. Jack, need some finishers brought in to get scoring up, obviously. But after so many shootout losses the last few years, maybe whoever the trade acquisition is can be a shootout guy too. Well, the trade acquisitions are going to be for the playoffs. And so, while it'd be a nice luxury to have a guy that's a good shootout guy, by no means are they even going to remotely really care about the guy's shootout, career history when analyzing a deal, because these are playoff moves. There is no shootout in the playoffs. And so, it's more of what can this guy bring to a probably bottom six. But if we brought in a top six guy, that'd be an interesting plot twist. Traveling Devil, it's crazy that goaltending for the Devils is not the issue anymore and scoring is, right? The tale of 2 seasons. The tale of 2 seasons. Last year we scored at will, didn't get goaltending, and now we have goaltending and seem to go through, offensive droughts. Hopefully they get it going soon. NJ Swamp Fox, Rags lose an OT to Colorado after leading late in regulation and failing to score on an OT power play. Wow. Where are the call-ins? I'll eventually do them again. I need to figure out a better software solution. I kind of looked into it, but I don't remember what happened. People didn't seem to love the call-ins. It seems like people like the comments in the chat better, but I don't know. My buddy Goody, I honestly thought you were going to make the trip to Prague. I really wanted to go, but it was kind of expensive, and I didn't see the NJD have any sort of package deals. Buffalo did, though. Yeah, I mean, it was fairly expensive, but it's just, I just hate traveling just because, if you could, in the future, if there's like not the time machines, what the hell do you call it? Not a time machine, but like these these crazy science fiction movie portals that you go in and you like teleport to a place. It'd be amazing, but it was pretty far. The travel was grueling, and to spend that kind of money on a regular season game, I mean, very cool for those that went, and I am jealous. It would have been really cool to go. I just did not have it in me at the time to do the whole thing, and I was super pumped about going when one of my buddies thought he wanted to go, and then I guess real life hit him, and he figured all the things he was gonna miss or couldn't miss during the time, and so I kind of gave up on it. But definitely a great experience for those that went. Daniel, Ace, you're not alone. Hell is other people. Wolf Rock and still hate the Colorado, Ace. I never want to hear. Yeah, after 2001, if you lived through that as a Devils fan, it'll never be the same. Travel and Devil, it's only for the time slots to buy tickets in February. So are they going to just automatically email whoever registered? Rolling 95, if you had to predict the Stanley Cup final, what would your guess be? If I had to predict the Stanley Cup final, what would my guess be? What would my guess be? It's a good question. As of today, I would probably say Panthers Jets, probably. Panthers Jets. Selfishly, I'm hoping that it's Devils Stars, I guess. Stars is probably the most is the easiest probably travel and like a decent place that I would want to go to. So for my own personal reasons, probably Devils Dallas would be my preferred final. I guess if I had to pick right now, I would pick Jets Panthers. Husky, gotta beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. I live near Toronto. I'm surrounded by their fans. It's beyond annoying when we lose those clowns. I hate them like you hate the Rangers. Yeah, I get it. Being entrenched in a fan base and just listening to constant shit talk over the years will eventually, get to you and you'll start to hate them. So I could only imagine how smug some of the Maple Leaf fans and how some of the the delusions probably run super deep in Toronto. But respective Maple Leafs fans, hockey is religion in Canada, and there's not many fan bases that are as rabid as the Maple Leafs. Chico, Kadri is the exact kind of lunatic this team needs. I don't know how you make the money or hockey aspect work. The Flames are in a playoff spot right now, as far as I know. He just makes way too much money to even consider it. Stick Figs, we lose tomorrow in Toronto, but we meet them again in the playoffs and win 4-1. I think it's Thursday, right? Thursday. Ray's name again. Yeah, Ray Bork, man. Nick. Anyone got a good Devils group? I got banned from Devils all day, all night, but those fans don't know hockey and are dumb AF. And then another group, Devils Unfiltered, are all in panic mode, fake fans. Nick, here's the reality. And part of what makes this so much fun is that no one's ever going to, you're never going to get 100% agreeance on pretty much any issue, right? So, when people have these terrible takes and doom, just accept it for what it is. Be happy that you're not one of them, Nick, and don't invest too much energy into it. Just like when these people say this nonsense, sometimes I'll read it, I'll laugh about it, and go about my day. But I'm curious, what did you do to get banned from Devils all day, all night? Jay Snow, I really like Lazar's play. He needs a couple other guys to play with. Got to change something up. Yeah, I've been waiting to see something changed up, whether that's mostly I just want to see Hallinan addition and Legary again. Jay Snow, I don't know, for some reason I'd love to play Florida in the playoffs. I'd love to travel to go see a game there. It's amazing. But dude, Florida to me, it'd be awesome to play them and beat them, right? To go through the Cup champs, defending Cup champs in the playoffs, but you saw tonight, like that's just a small glimpse into what the series would look like. I don't think everyone should be so, maybe disillusioned by how the Devils fared in the first two against the Panthers. I would expect a series to be a lot more like the game you saw tonight and even more punishing. So that is a real challenge for any team. Chico, tonight a little different to me because I heard it's norovirus. That's basically being a garden hose out both ends. Got a grade on a curve a little tonight specifically. Where did you hear that level of detail on the illness? Jack, do you see the Devils making a VGK shocker kind of move like when they got Hurdle last year? Let's assume the money works. Do they make a move for a big top six guy or even a middle six guy? I mean, Jack, if I'm being honest, the money is the only thing in the way, and potentially the assets that they're looking at. If I had to bet money today, do I predict the Devils do something along those lines, Jack? I would say no, if I had to bet. But would I be opposed to it, or am I rooting for it? Absolutely. If they can make the money work and we're not getting robbed on the trade package, a move that you could even put in the same kind of realm as that's a power move. That is a win now move. I would like to see it. I think Fitz is going to explore every avenue and see, but I do think because we don't have that first round pick, I think teams are going to be keying on the two defensive prospects, Nemitz and Casey, and I wouldn't want to trade them unless I'm getting something substantial. Jay Snow, do voicemails. That's a great idea. That might be one of the best ideas anyone's ever thrown out. Thank you for that one. I don't know why I never thought of that, but that makes sense. I got to set up like a hotline or something. Wait, let me take a picture of this so I remember later. Do voicemails. It's very interesting. Have like a line where people could just rant. I can't imagine some of the trolling that would occur on that line. But maybe I'm going to set up a hotline and people could leave messages. And then I will either play them during a live and talk about it or incorporate them into a video. I really like that idea. Thanks, Jason. That's a good idea. Nolan, I know I'm late to the chat, but the entire crowd was confused in the shootout, thought we won. It is unfortunate. I do think overall that our fans are very uneducated, and I think a lot of sports fans in general are that way. But if you're watching the shootout, you have to know what's going on. How would you have thought we won? I mean, clearly Lundell was out there with the game on his stick, and he buried it. Like, what? They didn't realize that one of the goals was a goal. I don't know. It's interesting. European arenas are not that great. Nostalgia has been canceled. Brandon Thomas, in regular seasons, Devils are 53, 70, and 33 against Toronto since day one. Devils have a 34% chance to beat Toronto, but Devils own them in the playoffs. The great Martin Brodeur, man. He stopped them in their tracks multiple times. And those Sundin, Tucker teams, they had some promising teams, but in the end, they always ran into the Devils. Yes, you will get a time and date when you could buy the tickets. Okay, that's super interesting. I think I registered with multiple emails as well, Traveling Devil. So hopefully one of them are a good time slot, and then I'll have to talk to you about what's a logical game plan in terms of not having to buy 10 million tickets for all these Olympic games. Chico, calling it now. Vegas versus Carolina in the Stanley Cup Final. Vegas wins in 6. That'd be interesting. Jason, Ace, we got 7 games left in January. I want 5-2. What do you think? I basically need 5-2 for my prediction. In my video, I think I predicted 5-2-1 for 11 of the 16 possible points. So we obviously got the overtime loser point. And so for my prediction to come to fruition, we have to go 5-2. That's what I'm sticking with my prediction, Jason. True Patriot Ace, sat on the glass tonight with my son for the first time. Great experience. Unfortunately, I renewed my Black and Dead membership, and that was my gift for my rep tonight. Nice. It is awesome to sit on the glass. I will say, as you know, it's obviously challenging. You lose the puck a lot. It's just the reality of sitting on the glass. But when the gameplay is near you, there's nothing cooler than smacking the glass when guys are just getting, crunched against it. Jason, no, Toronto has the same problem as the Devils. Their depth scoring is bad. Yeah, watch Taylor Hall go there, guys. It's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. But Toronto's definitely going to try to load up. My buddy Goody, my boy Ace is over here nerding out, talking about portals. I'm with that. Let's open a wormhole in the time-space continuum and make it to every Devils game home and away. Imagine how awesome that would be. That would be amazing. Yeah, I would try to go to every game. That would be awesome. Just portal to Vegas, Seattle, all these places. Joseph, when Bashkin gets that fishbowl off his head, he's going to be nasty. Maybe. Stickfigs, are you saying if we get to the finals, we'll be traveling for all of the games? I think so. I think if we made it to the finals, I would have to go to every game. It may be the last time. Anytime they make it to the finals now, I have to treat it as this may be the last time my New Jersey Devils are in the Cup finals, and I might have to, handle the situation appropriately. And handling the situation appropriately would consist of attending every single game, home and away. Jack, rest of January after the Leafs 3 games against the Flyers and 1 each versus Ottawa, Montreal, and Boston. Can't lose more than 2 of these games in any way, regulation or otherwise. Yeah, it's time to really clamp down. Ryan Johnson, I generally think we have to change nothing. This was a solid effort tonight against the Stanley Cup champs. Lost in a skills competition that means nothing. I'm stoked about the performance tonight. I can never use the phrase stoked in a loss, but overall, I share your sentiment, Ryan. Like, it sucks. It is what it is. They played a good game. It didn't go our way. We got the point. Stickfigs, yeah, Nick, don't want to invest too much into people's opinions on the internet. Hell, 90% of my comments are absolute nonsense. Oh, get an answering machine 90s style. Oh, man. You have to rewind that shit with the tape. I know you remember True Patriot. You're like, who called? Your mom's like, who called? And you're like rewinding the thing. Wow. Troy Machine, I think some people don't know that it's a guaranteed 3-round shootout. Well, it's not. It's technically not guaranteed. It could be over after 2. Like miss, goal, game over. Michael, Needs versus Domi in the playoffs. What a jerk Domi was. McKenzie would have killed him. Well, McKenzie jumped him the following season, Michael, if you remember. That was, man. I don't know. It's interesting. There are people on here that are very longtime fans. It's hard for me to get a gauge on like what type of videos people even want to watch or care about. So it's hard for me to figure out what. I guess there really is no type of videos I could make that would really appeal to everyone because everyone's kind of in a different level of fandom or age of their fandom and different things, But I have thought about doing like historical saga kind of videos. Maybe I will. And that whole saga would 1,000% be one of them, Michael, including the follow-up, the next season, like I said, with Big Jim McKenzie. Man, what a time. Jay Snow and Ace labels me a freaking doomer. I subscribe and like, and I get freaking shamed over here. Jay Snow, I'm busting your chops, bro. No one's shaming you. I just said, all I simply said from the beginning was you were kind of in the middle and you've slowly taken a few steps towards the Doomer Castle. That's all I said. You're not fully in there yet. You're just slightly closer to there than, the other side. Devil's Rule says RIP home games in January. Woodson, oh, there he is. We knew you couldn't go a whole post-game live without Woodson. When Nason can't play, we lose half our physicality in one player. Nico's still getting bullied by the toughest captain in the National. They were going back and forth. Timo absolutely crushed him, Woodson. Did you miss that one? Late in the game, Timo crunched him real nice. That was a great battle all night long. And I 1,000% agree with you. The toughest captain in the National is Matthew Tkachuk. And I am fired up to be rooting for him in the red, white, and blue in both the 4 nations and the Olympics. Going to be sick tournaments. Jason, voicemails get real funny. You got to try it. I have no idea how you set that, but you're a computer whiz. Oh, yeah, totally. I got it. Total computer whiz. Wolf, Ace, do you remember the playoff game against Toronto and we only allowed them 6 shots on net during the whole game, just dominate? Yeah, that was, I think it was game 6 of the 0-1. I think that was the 0-1 elimination game. I was at the game. It was crazy. I remember being aware, you're looking at the the Jumbotron and you see the shots on goal and you're like, holy shit. How is this even possible? 6 shots on goal? Yeah, I think I meant to say 2000. Yeah, it was the second round in 2000, Game 6 elimination game at Continental Arena. Amazing. Michael, I'm going to Vegas in March to see the Devils. Anyone else going? Oh, that's a tempting one. Vegas is always a tempting one. I've been fortunate enough to see them there once when I went on a West Coast trip, which is crazy. I wanted to do it since I guess the timing seemed right. I wanted to do it ever since I was a kid. I always remember thinking like, oh, it'd be so cool to go out on the West Coast and follow the Devils for like 3 games or something. Was able to go on a 4-game West Coast road trip right before the COVID nonsense, and it was unfortunate that I planned the trip on a season that we were just had nothing to play for. Going on a road trip now in a season like this would definitely be sick. Ooh, it's a Sunday too. Sunday, 5 p.m. time, local time in Vegas, 8 p.m. our time. And the Utah Hockey Club game is the game before. I'm so bad with geography. I want to see how far apart Utah and Vegas is. Oh shit. That's a drive. Yeah, I always like to fly to a location, and if it's not crazy to drive to do the drive, but that's a big one. That's a big one. Traveling Devil, I'm going to do more research after I get back from Canada and Jay on how to purchase the correct tickets. I do know I'm buying the gold medal game first. We can talk about it later. That's a solid strategy for sure. True Patriot, I'm sick of Vegas, all of it. The uniforms, the team, the arena, their playoff salary shenanigans, the team just they're a team trying to win, and they've built a pretty good product out there. And credit to them. I mean, no expansion teams ever come out of the gate so hard. Now, I do think that the expansion draft rules were in their favor. I mean, they were able to build a pretty sick team from day one. I remember thinking, like, my God, no other team in an expansion team was able to have a roster like this, and they made the most of it. I mean, shit. Jack, in your opinion, who are your top 3 or so Devils that need to step it up and 3 guys that have been playing an elevated game? I mean, 3 Devils that need to step it up. I mean, obviously, the majority of the bottom 6. I'll count the majority of the bottom 6 as a whole. And then I guess Timo and Jack. You need your, and this is not me ragging on them, but you need your big guns to be big guns. And Timo's been generating a lot of chances, but he hasn't been able to bury one lately. Stick figures. We get to the finals and it looks good, I'll fly back to Jersey and sell my soul. LOL, I remember you definitely would love an answering machine rant tape. Yeah, it'd be crazy. Jason, no, I'm just breaking your balls, Ace. I don't care. Chico still despised Domi, got one on Spit and Chicklets and threw a fit when one of them just said the word goon. Didn't even call him one, just said the word and he threatened to walk out. Wow. Stick figs. The bread and butter, I think, are the recap or the near future speculation videos. For most YouTubers, they're projects that go outside the normal, tend to get less views overall, but may draw in new people. Okay. Jack, my buddy Goody, I like that idea. A player like that who's a top 9 solid guy. I don't know. I'm trying to scroll here. There's just so many comments. True Patriot, the Kachuk hit on Nico is crippling. That's the stuff good captains do to light a fire. Man, some of you guys, my God, you don't make it easy on me. I got to decipher the shit, figure out missing letters. The Kachuk hit on Nico is crippling. That's the stuff good captains do to light a fire under a team. Not taking away from Nico. That's just not his game. Just love that he lays out. I mean, yeah, but that's not his game. The response was as good of a response as you're going to get from a guy like him. I mean, wow. He went nuts, as did Siegenthaler. Do not touch his fellow countrymen. He will come for you. Stick figs. If enough people here commit to Vegas, I'll go. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? A Vegas soiree of some kind. I might have to look into that. That could be deadly. What is the date on that? I gotta look at the calendar. I'm not off the top of my head. I can't see what I could have that far out unless there's like some stupid, event that I don't want to go to that I was invited to. Like kids, a baptism, of this, or that, an engagement thing. There's all these events, people and their events, but I don't think that one could be in the cards. Maybe. Insane Pollock. Hey, so I'm convinced Woodson swapped out of accounts to come in here now. I mean, that's certainly an interesting theory. Brandon Thomas. I think most content people would enjoy would be how to fix the team's problems. Like what should Fitz do at the deadline, or what Fitz pick up at the deadline? How could the team perform better? Yeah, I never want to come across as like, I'm sure I come across like this to a lot of people anyway, but I would say I have a pretty good knowledge of the game and the team and team history, whatever. But I just like to give my opinion. I'm not one of these people that's like, if sometimes I might word it very strongly, but for things that I'm passionate about, but I'm never going to come out and be like, if they don't do X, Y, and Z, so-and-so is a failure and this, that, and the other thing. Like, that's not who I am. I'm not proclaiming to be the master GM that a lot of the people around here claim to be, but I can always give my opinions on stuff like that, I guess, and like wish lists of maybe guys or positions, but it's going to be the same as everyone else. I mean, a bottom 6 upgrade or 2 would be nice. And a top 6 guy would be even nicer, but you have to look at all the things. Is the money going to work with the cap? Do we have the assets to not get completely swindled on a deal? Does the deal make sense? Dubs is like, it's time to talk about Timo Meyer. Oh, here we go. He gets paid $9 million to bury that slot shot in the third. 225 pounds, bear down and bury that shit. He's been a complete passenger. I mean, he's generating, man. He's generating. Like someone said earlier, he's snake bitten. You guys are down on the guy. We got to lift him up. He's getting chances. Stick fix. I think Nason needs to really step it up. We cannot be letting things like illness hold us back from Lord Stanley. It's so true. Seth, today my birthday. I turned 48. Happy birthday, Seth. Happy birthday to you. Maria went to Vegas last March. Lots of Devils fans and got a chance to talk to Chico before the game. That's awesome, Maria. How did you like it? Did you like the whole show? I mean, I'm sure they have some kind of show like they did back when I went a few years ago, but they had the drummers and all the people and the outfits and the noise and all the shit they got going on. Very exciting. Joseph, if younger fans can't get excited about historical Devils games, bandwagon fans. No, but I also understand. Okay, like my example, I guess, would be, I did that Jamie Langenbrunner interview, right? I can understand for people that weren't fans then, for them just not really to care at all. Now, while, would you say in an ideal world, would it be nice if fans cared about like the history of the team, especially, the glory years or whatever else? Sure. But in the end, a lot of people are kind of in that mindset, or whatever you want to call it, of if they didn't live through it, they really have no attachment to it per se. And therefore, knowing about it doesn't do something for them. That's not everyone. There's a lot of young people that do want to learn the history and kind of watch that stuff. But I just kind of put like the Jamie Langenbrunner in that category, right? So not everything's for everyone. Stick figs, what happened to the Smashville meetup? I mean, it's not off the table, I suppose. Wait, the Vegas one is more appealing to me. I'm a Vegas guy, but that's March 2nd. The Nashville game. When the hell's the Nashville game? The Nashville game is Sunday, the 23rd of February. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Those are two interesting roadies right there. Very, very interesting. Jay Snow. First time I've seen Siegs pissed off. He looked like someone's. You guys are terrible. Brandon Thomas, I think most. No. I think. Did you already say this, or I'm just losing it? Sleep deprivation, guys. Travis Walker, do you still think Siegs is soft? You were hard on him a couple games ago, but he's out here trying to kill people for Nico. The only time. So it must be his Swiss brother in arms, because we've never seen it anywhere else, including when guys are going after him. So the most rage he ever got was when someone went after Nico. My God, I'm delirious, guys. The special projects department of running with the Devils has been working round the clock. The special projects department is working on some really cool stuff. Morgan, you do realize Barkov is Florida's captain, not Kachuk. Yeah, so Barkov is the captain. Kachuk wears the A. Okay, he's an alternate captain. Same thing. A leader, a true leader. Yes, technically, I knew what whoever wrote that when I put it up there meant. But yeah, Barkov is the actual C, but Kachuk is no doubt a leader. Knowles, let's do a Vegas trip. The more the merrier. I'm sure it'll save money. I don't know how that would help anybody. The Vegas game is March. What did I just say? March 8th. It's on a Sunday. I don't know. March 2nd. March 2nd, Sunday. I'm gonna look into some of these things. Probably. I always like to go to at least a road game per season. Stick figs. I think younger fans get turned off by non-HD pictures. Safest bet is 2012 Eastern Conference Final Game 6 and work backwards. That's pretty funny. Jay Snow, you know it all, Ace. You think you could be the GM? No, I don't. I don't think I could be the GM. Well, realistically, anyone could be a GM, right? Anyone could technically, well, not anyone, but tons of people could actually do the job. You could say that about any job. Are people going to be terrible at it? Absolutely. But, what are they really doing? Obviously, they're in a results driven business. But the actual actions of the job is not the same as like a player. Like not anyone could just go be a player, but technically anyone could just be a GM. Brandon, your best content was last year when the team sucked and you just ranted. That's your best content. Terrible. I was hurt. I was down bad at the end of the season. We were so close to making it back to the playoffs and it all just slipped away. John Woodson, Nathan is carrying the whole team like a mule. His back hurts. No wonder he's sick. John, Jay Snow, I don't want to go through another crap year. They're going to the playoffs, man. They're going to the playoffs. Let's just get there and enjoy it. John Woodson, Jack and Luke, nowhere to be found against physical teams. Dubs is says February 23rd, Nashville. I'll be there. Jay Snow, it's the Swiss connection. You got to protect your captain. I think so. Kevin Kirk seems like Kachuk should be captain. He's the heart of the Panthers. Yeah, but in the end, the C in this situation is almost meaningless. Like Barkov was there first. He was kind of the guy that they built around. He's a great, like Nico, a great defensively responsible forward and, was the face of the team. But you don't need a C per se to lead. Kachuk has the A, but you could be a leader without having any of the letters. But he does have an A. He obviously is kind of the heartbeat of that team. And it's crazy how their fortunes turned around when they made that deal to get him. Wolf Rock, and that Jamie video had me pretty emotional, bro. I can't lie. Awesome video, Ace. I'm definitely jealous, sir. Thank you for doing that piece, Ace. Have a good night. Yeah, if you haven't seen the Jamie Langenbrenner interview for older fans, check it out. That's up on the channel from a little while back. Got to sit down and talk to Jamie about a ton of stuff. That was very cool. Is the special projects department Ace? I'm the head of the special projects department. Fire that asshole Ace. The guy that runs that department is horrible. Maria, back to the Vegas talk. Showgirls and all that. The Fortress was super loud, though. Their sound system, it's a spectacle. It's fun. Take it for what it is. It's Vegas. I had to do it at least once. Yeah, that's how I felt about it as well. And it was the last game on the road trip I went to or went on. Brandon, Ace, you should also make a video calling a welfare check on the Devils pre-Christmas defense. Where did it go? Maybe we should put out the all police bulletin. It's a missing persons. Joseph, F Vegas, come to Dallas. Those fans treat me like need some more fans around. In Vegas, you had a problem? John Woodson, team shut down our power play and our offense struggles just like we called it. Never mind. I responded to you saying you never try to act like you know. No, I give my opinion, but people could have other opinions. There's certain things that I think is like, when people say Markstrom sucks, like to me, like that's a different scenario. Like I will talk like I'm a know-it-all because the facts are the facts. And so if we're just living in your psychotic world where some people were, I'm just going to ignore his goals against and his wins and all these things, as shutouts that are near the top of the league, and just keep talking smack. Well, then I am going to, have that know-it-all stance, because the reality that this is not an opinion-based conversation. There's facts here, numerical data, that for you to give an altering viewpoint just means you are truly a hater or nuts or a troll or a combination of the above. We should do a quick checkup on the two golden casualties of Lindy, Schmidt, and Holtz. Somebody messaged me on Instagram, and they were at an AHL game where Schmidt was playing for I think they're the Silver Knights, the Vegas AHL club, and Akira got lit up in that one, I think. I forget who sent me that. My buddy Goody, Sam Reinhart was invisible all game. Not every player is going to make it happen every night. People don't get this, my buddy Goody. They just want to come and complain. John Woodson, we should have kept Schmidt and sent Dawes. Dude can't stop a beach ball. Jay Snow says Utica blows. Schmidt was horrible in Utica last year, too. Then Woodson says, except Schmidt showed absolute greatness in the playoffs, better than Dawes ever showed. Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. I really liked Akira Schmidt, just because, again, when you're a long-suffering fan and you went through some of those Rangers series losses, when you have a guy that comes in and literally resurrects you from the grave. I mean, the Devils were done. Down 2-0, heading to the Garden. The entire hockey world had written us off. Akira Schmidt comes in, wins two massive games in the Garden, and ultimately leads us to that beautiful Game 7 shutout victory over the Rangers at the Rock. One of the greatest nights in Prudential Center history. One of the only truly great nights, in my opinion, in Prudential Center history. No, Dallas fans give me shit every year. Texas is too isolated from other states with teams. Yeah, I could see that. So it's just a super pro Dallas crowd every night. Ron, we should have traded a 7th and a 6th to get Cotter. You got to give to get. Cotter's been a beast for us. Also, Ace, do you know if Cotter is decent in the dot? Without looking, I'm not sure how he fared. He didn't take any face-offs tonight. He has 42 on the season. And he's 54.8%. What's his career? Let's see. It looks like his career 50% and only 120. Didn't take a lot in Vegas either. Very, very little. He has 120 career, but 50%. Is that something that could be worked on? Sure. I can't see him not trying him out because at center and using that as a justification that he's not good at faceoffs. John Woodson, Cotter for his salary is an insane value. It certainly is. And then he says, Jason, I'm going to bet Doomer. Oh, man. Husky Unchained, Brodeur was a net for Utica last time I saw their highlights. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Jeremy Brodeur, his first ever AHL win. I forget what team he beat, but the other night he had a win playing for the Comets. Pretty sick. My buddy Goody, I'm hyped for Mikhail Yegorov. He seems to be the real deal as a prospect, and he seems excited to be the Devils' first Russian goalie. Well, we'll see about that. It's a long road to the show, kid. But, yeah, he's one of the many guys in the mix to try to take the net in the post-Jacob Markstrom era. There's going to be a lot of other guys. Nico Dawes, I expect to still be competing for that. Isaac Poulter. Possibly Tyler Brennan. There's a couple other guys, Jacob Malik. We drafted another guy from Finland, I think that's very good, but I'd imagine Yegorov is probably going to be in the top 3 at the moment, I would say. If I had to pick, which group of 3 has the best chance, one of them, the favorites would have to be probably Dawson, Poulter, and Yegorov. Cyril Schmidt was great that series, but the Rangers also shit the bed like it's going out of style. Ariel, my first shootout game and loss. Yeah, frustrating, man, but great game. Absolutely. You saw that was a classic game. Great game from both teams. Didn't end the way we wanted, obviously, but a super competitive, very physical playoff warfare type of game. And we came up short in the skills competition. It is true. And that sucks. Oh, it's getting late. It's getting late for the old man. What do I got here? Kevin Kirk, what is the assessment of the Cotter for Holt/Schmidt trade? We know what Cotter has done for us, but not sure if Holt's numbers are what Schmidt is doing this season. To be honest, I can never focus on that anyway. In a situation where you have to know Paul Cotter has been a blessing to this roster. And so once that's the case, I'm not going to play, woulda, coulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But in 44 games played, Holtz, and I just looked this up now. I knew he wasn't lighting it up by any means, but in 44 games played, he has 3 goals, 7 assists for 10 points. So, it's been a landslide victory for the Devils. For sure. Husky Unchained saw an interview with Yegorov today. Where was that? How is Yegorov our only hope? I don't agree with that either. We have several other guys who are going to be in the mix. Devils rule Holtz 10 points this year. Yeah, down. Not very good. Very promising prospect. What happened? I don't know. Jason says, let me guess, you think Markstrom sucks? Smith in the AHL. All right, guys. It's that time. Throw out your closing, any sort of random questions, comments, thoughts, concerns. Unfortunately, we came up short tonight, but I'm going to go take a leak in a minute. Start winding her down. So whatever I come back to that's in the chat there, throw it out there. I always look forward to the wrap up kind of last minute things you guys throw out there. But damn, yeah, it sucks. We lost a hard fought one tonight. A hard fought loss by your New Jersey Devils. And I'll be right back. Gonna go use the bathroom. I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. And I'll be back in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Uh-oh, the chat's getting lively. I'll be right back. What do we have here? Jason says Malik looks really good. I haven't been keeping tabs on him. Scott Armstrong. Trent Frederick is an intriguing name, seeing how the Bruins continue to fare this season. Thinking they may fall off, asking them sellers. 2.1 cap hit, expiring contract, and play center and left wing. Yeah, he's definitely a guy if the Bruins do become sellers. I'm sure a lot of teams will be in on him. And I'd be interested for sure. John Woodson, because Dawes, Poulter, and the other guys have save percentage below 890 in the minors. Imagine how bad it would be in the national. Well, you don't know. There's a lot of details. What kind of defenses are they playing in front of, et cetera, et cetera. And so it doesn't always tell the whole story. And these are all young kids. We're still talking about, at a minimum, the season after next season. So you're talking about the 26-27 NHL season at the earliest. And I'm hoping Jacob Markstrom finds that fountain of youth here and just continues to dominate, and we see him for a year or two beyond his current contract. There's no reason why that couldn't be reality. Unhinged Devs fan checked in, smashed his like as always. Support the team. Disgraceful Doomers. Listen to Chico for game while live. Nice. Thanks for the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Michael says Salminen in Finland much better, or Rimpinen than Malik. Is this a little Finnish bias we got here? I'm okay with the country bias. Who's Salminen? That's not the guy I'm thinking of. The guy I'm thinking of was we drafted him this past season. He had a crazy last name. And a lot of people were pretty high on him after we drafted him. Obviously, it's hard to, really know what's going on with some of these guys playing overseas. Like, there's not much video or anything for you could look at. Post-game meal. Oh, man, I would love a post-game meal. I have tried to make it I don't know what you want to call it, initiative to eat a little bit healthier in the new year, because last year was not a good year in that department for your boy Ace, for sure. And especially during the hockey season and holiday season, November and December was brutal. I was just straight up inhaling on the regular. But man, a post-game meal would be, now you got me thinking about one. Shit. John Woodson, McIntyre. Oh my God. Unhinged Dev fan, commuting home will watch it in this post-game. Meadowlander, Locked On Devils podcast with Trey Matthews had the Jagerov interview. I'll have to check that out. I always wash my hands. Daniel, did you wash your hands? Unhinged Devs fan, putting an effort and showing up to Doom doesn't make sense to me. I mean, what about it makes sense to you, Unhinged Devs fan? I mean, you should expect this now. Every loss, Doomers will be here. John Woodson, young kids 21 to 22, they should be better at that age. If they aren't sniffing the national by then, they ain't that good. Well, we have 2 veteran goalies on our roster right now. I think you got to give it some more time. Unless they're like Black. Yeah, to your point, exactly, Woodson. Like, you saw it with Blackwood. It took them some time to figure it out. And I think there's a lot of goalies that aren't going to be, where you want them to be when you want them to be there. So, how old's Blackwood now? He's basically just hitting his stride, and he's got to be like freaking 27 years old now. Oh my God, he's 28. Exactly. Like, it takes some time for some of these guys to put it together. And Blackwood now, 28 years old. He just got his career ticket. 5 by 5.5, a $27.5 million payday for Mackenzie Blackwood. And the Avs are hoping he backstops them to a cup. And I wouldn't be shocked if it happens. Jay Snow says, Woodson stats aren't everything. Jagerov is in a horrible team. I did hear that. This guy Woodson should be a scout. Woodson said Jagerov had promise. Michael Malik plays for, I don't know how to even say that team, so I'm not going to try, but it's a good team. Too many soft goals get in. Okay. Only 11 goals in the last 5 games. Come on, guys. Yeah, we'd like to see the scoring come back. They've been in some tight ones as of late. Not a lot of goals. Daniel, thank you for the super chat, sir. My contribution to the John Woodson and Ace show. I don't know about all that. Talk about eating bad. M Lounge tickets for the Sens game. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It's a dangerous place. Michael, draft Rimpinen. Who's Rimpinen? Let's see. I'm sure it's one of your local favorites. He is a obviously Finnish kid. 18 years old. 6 foot, 176 at the moment. And he's playing on the Finland U20 team. Okay. in net. 12 games played. I guess this is 24, 25. Yeah, I mean, goals against in every different thing that he's played in this year's 2.5 or under, and his save percentage is 915 or better in all of them. Yeah, pretty damn good numbers. Now, again, I'm only relaying what I could see here. I have no idea what the true level of competition there is or anything like that. But in terms of just purely the numbers, his numbers are good for sure. Knowles, any word on Jeremy Brodeur? Heard he has some big wins in Utica. Could he come up in a few years or sooner? I just think he's too old now at this point to make a run for an NHL job with all these other guys. I mean, that would be a great story, right? I mean, he's 28. So yeah, who knows, right? Crazier shit has happened. That would be awesome if Jeremy became the Devils starting goalie. I don't know how realistic that is. I mean, he's most likely going to – I think Dawes is hurt, so he's most likely to end up back on the Adirondack Thunder in the ECHL. But who knows? Woodson, Blackwood suffered from the Devils goalie injury plague, unfortunately. Yeah, he had a couple injuries and never seemed to, again, stay healthy and stay consistent. Jay Snow, Yegarov is going to college next year. Yeah, I know he's going to he committed to BU, and he's going to play for former New Jersey Devil, Jay Pandolfo. What a small world the hockey world is. Small world. Scott, just wanted to say you're a real one, Ace. Great content. You're killing it, man. You're going to go far in this realm, sir. Putting the Devils on the map with the quality and depth content. I appreciate it. I don't know if all that's true, but I'll take it. But thank you for that. We'll see where it takes. We'll see where this all takes us. I'm not expecting too much out of it, but it is fun. I enjoy talking to all of you guys. I enjoy talking to some of the other players, and so yeah, it's pretty cool doing stuff surrounding my passion for the Devils. John, instead of creating my own channel, I do co-host Ace. Michael, he carried us to the World Junior Championship final. Very nice. Travis Walker, Hasek was like 1,000 years old when he debuted in the NHL. Yeah, he was super old when he broke through with the Blackhawks. Man, it's crazy to think the Blackhawks had a goaltending tandem of Eddie Belfour and Dominic Hasek. My God. Jay Snow, I wonder how many years he does in college. I feel like that's there's so many variables there. Like, I could see that decision for him, being sort of predicated around what's going on with the Devils net at that point. Like, yeah, I'd imagine it will be at least 2. SST, Ace again reads everyone's messages, but ignore mine about the bad McDermott trade. The trade or the signing? Are you going to complain about both? I can't keep up with all your negativity, man. Where's your comment? I'm trying to find it now. There's 10 million comments in here. SST, imagine Berdikov, the guy Fitzgerald gave up for McDermott and who is a big center, scores a lot of points in the KHL, comes to NHL and plays for the Avs. What a deal Fitzgerald struck. I don't care about these KHL prospects that will probably never pan out. Come on. It's not like you traded Gritsuk. You're acting like what we lost. Roman Luco led the Finnish Elite League. All right, guys, that's it. I'm done. Sleep deprivation. Is setting in. The Devils lose a heartbreaker tonight. An absolute heartbreaker. 2-1 via the first shootout of the season. Courtesy of the Florida Panthers. The boys are back in action Thursday night against the Maple Leafs in Toronto, looking to win one for General Keefe. And wow, thank you for joining me tonight. If you're newer to the channel or haven't seen it yet, poke around. A lot of cool stuff came out in the past week or so. I have a Jamie Langenbrunner interview for the older people out there that were fans around then. So check that out. The whole Taylor Hall possibility. There's a video about that. I did a video about the rest of January, my prediction, and how I wanted to see the goalies play. So just check it all out. Watch it all. Hit the thumbs up for your boy on the way out of here. Go watch the other videos. Hit some more thumbs up. And that's it, guys. That's it. Good times. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go